Hey, it's the Sportz Nutz, y'all. Let's get it.
The Sportz Nutz are back.
You are now listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Yes, welcome everybody. We are so honored that you chose us to help keep your cravings of the sports news going strong. Welcome to the Sportz Nutz. We are your no, you're gonna like this one too. You are our one-stop coffee shop for sports talk. Real quick, shout out to everybody who's listening on 95.5 KFCE, TigerNation.live, and the other 8 radio stations that we air on. And also, shout out to the now 41 countries we air in. Yes, we officially air in 41. Thank goodness. You guys all get a chance to tune in. But shout out to Argentina. It is our newest country that tunes in, so really appreciate it. Tonight's episode, y'all, it is a doozy. We have our dear friend, Mr. Kanoa Leahey, back from Spectrum Sports Hawaii. Remember, we had him on when we did episode 100, and here we are, episode 213, and he is joining us. We have our good friend John from the Pitch Grid podcast, who will be joining us to talk about soccer. You know, John is our guy. We love having him on always. But as you guys see, my man sitting right next to me, he is the newest member of the Sportz Nutz Network. You will see him from time to time tune in on our show, but you will see him. We're taking him under our wing and helping him grow, and he provides fantastic quality content. Tim, man, happy Monday. Happy belated Easter to you. How was your weekend, sir?
Man, it was a great weekend. I had a great Easter, spent it with the family, ate lots of food, but it is Monday. I'm ready to get back in the swing of things. And is it good to talk sports on a Monday or what?
Amen to that. Our guy Ben Willis will be joining us in a little bit. He is just getting off of work. He should be on momentarily. I'm actually really excited to see everybody. We will not, remember, folks, just real quick, also remember, we do not have Matt tonight. Remember, Matt is doing his fatherly duty. So shout out to Matt and his whole family. They are actually down in Disney World. Real funny story, Tim. I haven't been to Disney World since I was 8 years old. So
I've never been to Disney World.
Oh my goodness. Oof. Man, but you know, when I was there, they had just opened up Space Mountain. That's how long ago it's been. Oh. So it's been a long time. Oh my God, it was a lot of fun. And then also Shane is not joining us tonight. Shane unfortunately got some food poisoning, and you guys know food poisoning is absolutely the nastiest feeling in the world. I don't care what you say. No, it is not. So, but you know what though? We will persevere. We are here. We are going to be joined by one of the coolest guests ever. I'm honored that he has agreed to come on. This is actually Tim's first time he's going to get a chance to interview somebody from the state of Hawaii with sports more specifically. And cannot wait to bring him on. With that being said, further ado, ladies and gentlemen, aloha, Kanoa. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing, Brandon? Good to see you again. Tim, nice to meet you. And Yeah, man. We made the promise that I would join you come circa 200th episode. So 213, that's pretty spot on there. So it's good to see you guys. Let's get nuts.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
all right,
good to
so
see you,
mahalo
man.
for. Go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's good to see him.
Oh yeah. So Kanoa, mahalo for joining us again. First off, I got to ask. Now, I've seen the videos. Tim has too. I saw KHON2's report, and of course Hawaii News. Now the last two Kona lows, they really did a doozy on the island, Hawaiian Islands, and now they're saying there's a third one on the way. First off, did you float away? How's everything going on your end?
Yeah, I was kind of considering buying some scuba gear to get to and from downtown and other parts of the island that where I needed to work. Yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, it did quite a bit of damage. For those who don't know, Hawaii is known more for its trade winds, which is usually the winds that come from the northeasterly towards the southwest direction. But the Kona lows, those are wind patterns that go the other way. And what was scary about it is it brought with it just a ton of moisture, a ton of wind, and it was a significant storm. I mean, they had wind gusts that were up around hurricane levels. And so you had the combination of that level of moisture and rain and that kind of wind. It was something that we were bracing for the first wave. It kind of came in two different waves within a week. And the first one, you had Governor Josh Green, who actually kind of shut everything down, at least on the island of Oahu. And so we were more or less prepared. People, they lost power in a lot of different pockets. I lost power several times over the course of about a 24 to 36 hour period. And there were other parts of the island that lost power for multiple days. And that was the first wave. And so we kind of got out of that for the most part okay with some aesthetic levels of flooding in some parts of the island. But then that second wave came through, and that's where like the north shore of the island, areas like Waialua and Haleiwa, I mean, it got really bad. And there were people that had to evacuate, and they had their homes absolutely wrecked. And so we're going through the rebuilding process and the recovery process for some of that. And even Manoa, where the University of Hawaii is located, just blocks up from the campus, they had, in what was a very short period of time, an overflow of a couple of the drainage ditches, and they had flooding to some of the neighborhoods, including one of the elementary schools up there. So, yeah, concern, a lot of prayers and thoughts and aloha for the people that are going through the recovery process. And there's another one coming this week, and so we're just keeping our fingers crossed and hoping that this one does not do nearly as much damage as the first couple.
I talked to our mutual friend Brian Kajiyama, and he said that that was some of the worst damage and flooding he has seen in Haleiwa ever. And I'm like, oh, that's not what you want to hear, And then also, I know you probably watched the show Renovation Aloha with Kamahai and Tristan Kalama, and they even put on their Instagram page that some of their investment properties got damaged from flooding. Wow. And I'm like, oh, such a heartbreaking situation going on there. All right, Tim. So, first off, folks, this is our newest member of the Sportz Nutz Network. Our guy, Tim Collins from Answer the Call, this is his very first chance to interview somebody from the state of Hawaii. Tim, the floor is yours, man.
Hey, thank you. Brandon, I appreciate the honor, and the opportunity to allow me to join you and interview and sit down with Mr. Leahey tonight. And Mr. Leahey, I just got to ask real quick, we see you do the play-by-play, and you just kind of have like this calm demeanor. And so walk me through your game day prep. What's something fans would be surprised you focused on a lot?
Oh, that's funny. You're not the first one to describe me in that way of having a little bit more of a laid back, maybe disposition for the most part. I think I do have the ability to get pretty excited, but yeah, I think the starting point, the ground floor is pretty chill. That's kind of an island vibe. I think being born and raised here in Hawaii, there's just sort of that, I think, starting point. But yeah, preparation is the key for anybody that has been in this business or is considering going into this business. That's the number one thing is preparation. It's kind of like the old John Wooden adage, which is, failure to prepare is preparation for failure. And that absolutely applies here in the realm of sports broadcasting. And so, yeah, I think the thing that people might get surprised by, I think there are a lot of people that maybe aren't familiar with the industry that would just assume, we're a bunch of talking heads that just put the headset on and turn the microphone on and we just yap and fill all the dead space for a couple of hours. But I think people would be surprised at the amount of studying that we actually do. For a football game, I'm probably putting together an accumulation of, anywhere between 8 to 12 hours of actual just like sitting there and putting materials together and studying, going over names, looking at film. And, that is football is such a beast. It's such the magnitude of the game with so many players and just so many aspects of it. That one is pretty demanding, but even for a volleyball or a basketball or a baseball game, I think the sheer number of hours that I put into preparation and studying would be something that's a bit of a surprise for people.
Kanoa, you did just mention basketball, and we did see, and it breaks my heart to say this, we saw Coach Beeman. She announced her retirement from the game, bring her whistle up. She's been with UH I didn't realize she's been there for over 10 years, and she's a born winner. She is a proven winner. But, the Rainbow Wahine, they're going to lose out on such a legend with Coach Beeman. I will say this. I've said this regularly. I'm actually kind of excited to see what the jump from the Big West to the Mountain West Conference is going to do for UH. But can you explain the vibe around the Rainbow Wahine now that Coach Beeman is gone, and also what the vibe is going to be like knowing that they're going to go into Mountain West Conference as a full-time member, as having a brand new head coach?
Yeah, 14 years she's been on the job, and she has had a level of success that has been fairly unprecedented. They went to the NCAA tournament 3 times. They've won almost a handful of regular season Big West Conference championships. And so she elevated this program and got it to a level of expectation and success that I think is going to be hard to match for anybody that steps into that role. She set the bar very high. And so, there had been some rumors, there had been some chatter around the program that she had been eyeing possibly calling it quits, and I think perhaps eyeing an opportunity to maybe go into an administrative position with the university or something like that. And just so happens there are a couple of admin positions that have recently opened up. And so I don't think it's a pure coincidence that she has chosen now as the time to walk away from coaching. And she absolutely deserves that right? I mean, she's one of the very few in the coaching industry that gets a chance to walk away under his or her own terms, right? I mean, that's not the most common thing, as we know about that business. It can be cruel. And once it is very, what have you done for me lately? And once you get to a certain stage where, the success starts to wane, that support starts to wane as well. And so I think her being in this position where she can walk away under her own terms is something that is a remarkable achievement unto itself. And it's something that is very well deserved. But I wouldn't be surprised if in pretty short order we hear news that she is entering into administrative role with the University of Hawaii. She loves it here. She and her partner Carla have built out a life here. And so they don't want to go anywhere. I don't think she wants to be very far away from the program or the university or the institution as a whole. And so I fully expect that to take place. Now, there is uncertainty about the future of the program. You have a crop of coaches that have been with her on this staff for a multitude of years. Are they going to be seen and viewed by the athletics director, Matt Elliott, as legitimate candidates to take over in that head coaching capacity? You have the transfer portal that opened today for women's basketball. Already there was maybe a bit of a surprise and, a bit of an unnerving name that was mentioned in regard to the transfer portal, and that was the freshman point guard Kiara Curtis, who had a sensational freshman campaign. And so, you start to wonder, are we going to see more of that? Are we going to start seeing now this mass exodus of players that enter the transfer portal? There are some murmurings, though, that there are going to be some other head coaches, even head coaches perhaps elsewhere in the Big West Conference, that might show a level of interest in this Hawaii job. And that may be attached to the fact that Hawaii is, as you mentioned, in the middle of that soon-to-be transition to the Mountain West Conference. So things are going to be a little bit different. I think things are going to be heightened as far as the challenge for Hawaii. The travel is going to be much more difficult, but I think for some of the coaches who are remaining with programs that are staying in the Big West Conference, they may view that move for Hawaii as a bit of an upward trajectory type of move, and I think it's going to be attractive for some established head coaches. So this thing could get pretty interesting and possibly exciting as to the kinds of candidates' names that we hear as we move ahead in the process. But there is most definitely some uncertainty right now, and it remains to be seen just how this decision by Laura Beeman is going to overall affect things.
We are talking with Kanoa Leahey of Spectrum Sports Hawaii. He's talking University of Hawaii sports with us. Tim, go ahead, man. Here's your next question.
All right, so we just talked about, you have this calm demeanor when you're doing the play-by-play, and you gave us the prep. Now, when you're in the middle of a big moment, though, because in Hawaii sports, I know that like big moments happen, and so like when you're in the middle of a big moment, how do you balance letting the moment breathe versus adding your voice to elevate?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the elevation of the voice, what we as announcers hope is an accentuation of the grand moment that happens instantly in the moment. And I think it is the aftermath, almost the immediate aftermath of that, where it is incumbent on us to allow, especially on television, to allow the pictures to do the talking and the crowd and the noise and the ambiance to do more of that messaging. And I've, had a real, privileged opportunity to work with some really great producers at ESPN, even some producers with the NFL Network here over the years, and they all say very similar things. I'll always remember one of the coordinating producers with ESPN and ESPNU out of Charlotte, Chris Farrow, who was one of the first to bring me into the fold to do a select number of college basketball games with ESPN. And he told me, he said, hey, look, man, less is more in those moments. Let it breathe, as you alluded to. Let the pictures and let the game itself do the talking sometimes, especially if you are able to measure the moment as being that kind of important of a moment. And so, yeah, I think that's the balance, right? Is you want to help to punch that moment. That's sort of what we're there for, in essence, is to lead people into this awareness that, oh, this is big, right? And we're gonna punch that moment along with you and help to accentuate that. But in the immediate aftermath, I think it is important to allow for the people who are watching on television to just drink it in like everyone else in the arena is at that exact time.
I like that. So, Kanoa, what is the latest on Coach Kanoa and his contract situation? Obviously, I know the last time we had heard the school hasn't decided yet about a possible extension, but he just led UH again to the NCAA tournament. This was one of the most enjoyable basketball seasons I'd say in the last 3 years. I mean, anytime you get to watch UH basketball is just amazing. But I mean, just the level of competition this year has been exponentially amazing. But what is the latest on his contract situation?
Yeah, well, I think he's going to get a new contract. It's kind of amazing that it hasn't been announced yet. And we're talking about the women's basketball program, the transfer portal opening today. Well, tomorrow the men's basketball transfer portal opens. So the news and the announcement, I'm assuming, is going to be coming like any day, maybe any minute now. Maybe they're sending the email out right now while we're talking. Who knows? But yeah, I think I like to view sports and college sports as a bit of a meritocracy, right? I think it is just to reward success. And so, hey, look, there has been a sentiment around this program, to be quite frank, that maybe it was time to move on. When they didn't qualify for the Big West Conference tournament just last season, you started to hear a lot of that type of chatter around the program. And so, that again, that's the nature of the beast, right? And when that success starts to wane, or people start to feel like there's a certain limit to what is possible and what is achievable with a certain regime in place, I think that sentiment's gonna start building. We started seeing attendance numbers also waning here for UH men's basketball. But they did the deed last year. They revamped the roster. They went out. They took some big-time home run swings. They brought in this crop of extremely veteran transfers. I mean, guys who were mercenary type of guys, right? They were here for 1 year. Some of them because of their backgrounds having served missions in the LDS church. They were like 24, 25, 26 years old. Hunter Erickson was one of the oldest players in all of college basketball at 26 years of age. They bring in Dre Bullock, who was attending his 6th college in his career, and he ended up being an absolute dude, high flyer, a guy who played at both ends of the floor, could hit threes, came up clutch, and just gave them a facet that they hadn't really had, I think, in a number of years. So can they do that again? Is that something that is going to be repeatable for them, to go into the portal and bring in that kind of talent that not just has a certain level of experience and poise, but also that can merge and mesh together, because that was another remarkable thing, was you bring in all of these guys that have all of these years of experience, but it doesn't always necessarily click. And so for it to have all fallen together in the way that it did last season, was that lightning in a bottle? Was that a bit of a fluke, or is that something that they think is replicable here moving forward? And I think that's what we're going to find out. But by virtue of their success last year, without a doubt, Eran Ganot is going to get a contract extension. From what I understand from people that I've talked to, there has been a back and forth. There have been contracts put in front of him. The only thing that is still yet to be ironed out are the terms, the length and those kinds of details with the contract. But it's going to happen. There was some speculation, too, that maybe Eran Ganot would be plucked either by another program or even Randy Bennett when he left St. Mary's and took over at Arizona State. Eran Ganot used to be the associate head coach at St. Mary's for Randy Bennett for a short period of time, but they ended up filling that role with another former associate head coach of his. And so that piece sort of disappeared, and I think even from a negotiating standpoint, some of that leverage also probably disappeared for Eran Ganot. So it's just a matter of them, I think, agreeing on some minor details here, but it sounds like from all sides that we're getting really, really close to an announcement of some sort taking place.
Our good friend Ku'ule Agbenyani even said that she was surprised that Coach has not gotten his extension yet. I'm like, gosh, everybody is. It's so strange that he had such an amazing season. Obviously, it didn't get the way we wanted to see them where, they're playing tonight. They would be playing tonight for that national championship. But, he's done tremendous work. Yeah, he had a hiccup last year, but, who doesn't have hiccups? We all have hiccups on every point of our careers.
Yeah. We've all definitely had those moments. And I think the fact that he was able to turn it around so instantly is definitely a testament to their resolve as a coaching staff, as a team. Now, there are some adjustments that are being made even on the coaching staff. Brad Davidson, one of the top assistants, he got plucked basically by USC. So he's joining Eric Musselman's staff over there. So I'd imagine that they'll move up a couple of the assistants. Gibson Johnson will probably move up to one of the top positions. They have Noah Allen, another alum who was a transfer from UCLA that was an all Big West selection when he transferred to Hawaii in Eran Ganot's second year. And so he's been hanging around the program, traveling with them on road trips, going to the postseason. So I'd imagine that there is a good chance that we see a spot that is filled by him on the coaching staff. That's speculation at this point, but it just seems to make sense in my mind. So, but all that stuff can't necessarily take place until we get the Eran Ganot extension news. So any minute now, keep an eye on your watches.
That's here. Right. All right, Tim, go ahead, man.
Okay, so for the audience, like my audience per se, and a lot of people here like in Arkansas and the surrounding areas, maybe we don't have, the experience in terms of Hawaii sports. So for anyone that hasn't had the chance to experience Hawaii sports, what makes Hawaii sports different to Coll compared to anywhere else in the country?
That's a great question. Hawaii is very unique because of its geography. It is an isolated state surrounded by water, multiple islands, even communities are somewhat isolated from each other. You have to jump on a flight to get to neighbor islands, to see family, to see friends. And so it's a different kind of community but it is one that is enriched in culture. It is one that has a tremendous amount of respect for the past because of the culture that has been established here, not just the native Hawaiian culture, but even in the early days of the sugarcane plantations and the pineapple plantations and companies and canneries. You had all these different people from all of these different parts of the world, not just around the Pacific Rim, but as far as Portugal, as far as Spain, who emigrated to the state of Hawaii and to these islands. And so, you talk about a melting pot. Melting pot to me is not necessarily the best way to describe the population here. To me, it's a little bit more like a salad bowl where you just have a lot of different ingredients, but they all kind of come together and they all sort of work in sync with one another. And is it always harmony? No. Are there still fights that are being fought by people who are trying to preserve certain elements of the native Hawaiian culture and language? Of course, but I think that there is a great amount generally of respect for those things. And so you have that as a backdrop to when you then approach University of Hawaii or Hawaii sports. People love their sports here. There is no professional team, though, here. And so when it comes to the University of Hawaii specifically, I think this is a fan base that operates much more like a professional fan base, where maybe they're a little bit more on the fair weather side. It's not going to be like a Tennessee or like in Arkansas where, hey, win or lose, you're still going to get near sellout crowds. If not, you're just going to pack the place no matter what. Here, there is going to be a little bit of a measurement as to, all right, what are we investing in? There are a lot of other things that you can do with your recreational time here in Hawaii. Why do we want to commit to attending these University of Hawaii games? And so you're going to see that affect attendance, and you're going to see that affect some of the way the fan base is embracing a program. It is unfortunately going to be a little bit under the category of a fan base that is a little subjective in that way. But yet I think you have as well the galvanizing factor of it's us versus them, because Hawaii is so unique. It is so isolated. The challenge that Hawaii has to face just to play intercollegiate athletics, just to get to games on the continent, to schedule games against other programs, like it is an effort. And so it's kind of laughable when you see now with all of the conference realignment, all these coaches like Mick Cronin and at UCLA and all these other coaches that are complaining about traveling in conference from coast to coast. And it's like, dude, you don't know what travel is. The University of Hawaii has done that for decades and generations. Like, what are you complaining about? But it has, I think, a bit of a galvanizing factor. And so when there is a Hawaii team that represents, and men's volleyball very uniquely is huge here. I mean, they draw sellout crowds in the arena, and it is one of the most hyped atmospheres for men's volleyball, maybe around the entire globe. But part of that is because they, I think, instill a level of pride because of their ability to compete nationally for national championships. And so when there is a team that does that, when there is a men's basketball team that makes it to the big dance, when there is a team that makes it to a national postseason, there's a level of excitement and pride that comes with that, because that is, I think, embraced by the community here as proof that, hey, look, we are often underestimated, and we grow up here in Hawaii because of our distance away from everybody else with a certain inferiority complex. But it's those examples, those teams, those players, those coaches that sort of show this ability and this possibility of, hey, we can be just as good as everyone else. And so there's that level of pride behind this whole thing that I think gets tapped into in those special years.
You hit the nail on the head. And Kanoa, I want to say, what an amazing football season we saw this year from the Rainbow Warriors. And now they're even poised to have an even stronger 26-27 campaign. Now, I did see, I don't know if you saw this report too, Hawaii was listed as the current 12th seed. If the CFP were to start right now, Hawaii was listed as the 12th seed in the CFP. So, and it got me thinking. Obviously, I look for all the games. I'm excited about it, and a buddy of mine is the O-line coach at University of West Georgia. He said that West Georgia and Hawaii are trying to schedule that 13th non-conference game, or that game at the end of the year. But what games are you circling on for the new football season? Obviously, Micah Alejado is poised to have an even better season. And we got the good news that Pafela Ashlock is staying. Thank goodness we don't have to hear about the transfer portal yet. But what games are you circling most going into this next season that says, man, UH literally could battle for that 12th seed in the playoffs?
Yeah, I kind of process that as being a little bit of clickbait, like Hawaii being in the college football playoff. Like, that's going to get people to read, right? But maybe there's something to it. Hawaii does have the benefit of the teams, especially in the conference that they are playing at home. Like, those would be the teams that you want to play at home. You have North Dakota State joining the Mountain West. And I'd imagine that it's going to be a lot like when Boise State basically made the transition to Division I in the Western Athletic Conference and just started beating everybody. Like, I kind of feel like North Dakota State is going to hit the ground running, so to speak. So Hawaii has them at home. Hawaii has UNLV at home. That's a September 5th game. UNLV is the second game of the season. And I kind of looked at that like, hey, these could potentially be the two big dogs of the Mountain West Conference, UNLV and Hawaii, and you have them playing as the conference opener for both teams. Like, that's kind of crazy. That's a little early, but I think there might be, because of this more recently announced media rights deal from the Mountain West Conference. It's probably because they want to put that on the front end for what will likely maybe even be a CBS game, like a CBS network game, if not, a CBS Sports highlighted game. So, those, I think, being home games for Hawaii, that's pretty big. Like, you definitely want to play the tougher teams on your schedule at home. And I think for the most part, that's what Hawaii has in conference play. Now, the other games that are circled, obviously, they set a certain tone last year when they beat Stanford to open the season. You had the Tokyo Toe, Kansei Matsuzawa, kicking the game-winning field goal, the walk-off winner. And that set the stage, I think, got a lot of people's attention on this team, on Kansei, on the story behind this team. Mike Alejado, who, played through some pain late in that game and had to deal with an injury in the games following that. So at Stanford, that's another opportunity for them to set a tone. You mentioned they also have a road game at Arizona State. That's going to be a tough one on October 10th. And so, that'll be a tough out-of-conference battle for Hawaii, but that's definitely one of the other games that I have circled. And then you want to talk about long, tough road trips. Well, Northern Illinois is in the Northern Illinois Conference. I don't understand this footprint. It is very similar to what we saw, remember, in the old Mountain West days. And the old Western Athletic Conference days when it was this really expansive footprint. But we have that now with UTEP and Northern Illinois and North Dakota State. But going to Northern Illinois, that is going to be, I think, a really difficult road trip just because of the distance. And so I'm very interested to see how this Hawaii team is going to respond to that. But you mentioned it, man. You got to, in this day and age of the transfer portal and NIL, you just hang on to the key pieces and you kind of build around them. They were able to hang on to Mike Alejado. They were able to hang on to Pofele Ashlock and some other key pieces. They lost Jackson Harris, who was a really productive receiver from Stanford. He ends up becoming the first recruiting commit for Lane Kiffin at LSU through the portal. But they bring in another Harris, in Audric Harris, who is a transfer from Washington, who I think has some similar specs. It might be a little bit lofty to suggest that he can have the kind of season that Jackson Harris had, but I don't think that is that big, at least on paper, of a drop-off in terms of what he might be able to bring to the table. So, I think, that's another thing. We were just talking about what gets this Hawaii fan base excited, and nothing moves the needle quite like Rainbow Warrior football. And for them to be as relevant as they are, and for them to have proven themselves, Timmy Chang and this coaching staff to have been able to take that proverbial step and announce their presence as a possible problem in the Mountain West Conference. I think that was really exciting to see, and absolutely looking forward to the start of the season.
I will say this: I'm also I'm proud of Harris going to LSU, and that also tells me, hey, UH is on everybody's mind because you got some really good quality players. Hey, my man Ben has joined us. Ben, I know we're running close to time ending with Kanoa, but do you have any questions you would like to ask Kanoa?
Yeah, Kanoa, first of all, nice to meet you, man.
What's up,
I'm
Ben?
a little late to the show. Sometimes duty calls, but life be lifing. But I'm glad to be a part of the show, and it's nice to finally make your acquaintance. I do have a question for you. Do you think Hawaii not only can make the CFP next year, but do you think they could actually win the Mountain West Conference Championship?
Well, yeah, I think that, it's you would like to think that there is a legit possibility that they are going to be able to do that they are going to be able to be a contender in the Mountain West. And I don't think that it is a bridge too far to suggest that they are, at least right now, as it stands, if they go into the season fully healthy and as developed as this coaching staff is expecting them to become the start of the season, I do think that they are going to be looked upon as a legitimate Mountain West contender. And that's where you need to start. I don't think you can think about the college football playoff unless you are convinced that this is a team that is going to win the Mountain West. It is going to be a much easier thing to think about than to actually see come to real life fruition. Because I think UNLV is going to be really, really good. I think, as I mentioned, North Dakota State is going to hit the ground running in this conference, and they're going to be a problem right off the bat. And so I think we have to kind of wait and see. That UNLV game, which is the second game of the season, like that is going to loom so large as a tone setter for what we can expect the rest of the way in the Mountain West Conference and what we can expect the rest of the way from this Hawaii team. I mean, they go to Stanford and they host UNLV, and it's like, all right, well, where are we? Win-loss record, where are we health-wise after those two games? They host New Mexico State, I think, in game 3. And so you would think that's – and then they have a bye after that. So you'd think that that'd be an opportunity for them, if they are a little beat up, to kind of heal up and still hopefully, get a win in that column. But I think we're going to learn a lot about this team in those first two games, and that'll tell a story. But I do think entering the season, it is not too lofty an estimation to say that they are a Mountain West contender. How legit a contender they are, we'll find out. We'll find out pretty early, as a matter of fact.
His name is Kanoa Leahey. He is with Spectrum Sports Hawaii. Kanoa, can you quickly let everybody know where they can find you on social media? And also, I know you do. I think it's every Friday. Is it every Friday or Saturday night? You do something with Rod DeMello. But can you let everybody know when you're next on the airwaves?
Yeah, so I try to be like you guys, and I have a little radio show as well. I don't know if we're in as many international countries as it sounds like you guys are. That's pretty remarkable. But no, we have a show. It's called Let's Talk Sports. Very creative, original radio name for a sports talk show. But Let's Talk Sports on ESPN Honolulu with my co-host Billy Hull. And so that airs from 7 to 9 a.m. Hawaii time. So that would be 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we do that daily, Monday through Friday. Of course, Spectrum Sports still has the media rights contract at the moment with the University of Hawaii, and we're finishing out that broadcast schedule with men's volleyball and baseball. And you can usually catch those broadcasts on ESPN Plus. So those are just a couple of places that you can catch up with me. Yeah, on Twitter, it's very simple, just at Kanoa Leahey. So there you go.
Kanoa, man, I really appreciate you coming on. I know you got to hop off here because of our time constraints and everything. But man, I want to say mahalo. Can I get you to come on episode 350?
Hey, dude, you call me, I'm there. I will do everything in my power to make sure that I can participate with you guys. I love what you do. I really dig it. You have the greatest graphic open in the history of any sports show, television, podcast, or otherwise. So, yeah, congrats. Keep up the great work, and book it, man.
Mahalo, man. I appreciate you, Kanoa. You take care of yourself. Hey, don't float away when you have that next Kona low come in this week.
I'm going to go buy a set of fins right now.
Exactly. Kanoa, you take care of yourself, and we'll talk soon. Sound good, my friend?
All right. See you guys.
Mahalo.
Take care. Aloha.
Take care, buddy.
Oh, man. How cool was that? Like, first off, Tim, congratulations on getting the chance to talk to a legend in Kanoa. You know, I mean, I've gotten the privilege to – I heard his grandpa. I heard his dad. Now, I will tell you, his dad – well, his whole family name, they're so well versed in the state of Hawaii. They've done play-by-play, gosh, since the cows started roaming the earth kind of thing. It's so cool. They're amazing. But yeah, I'm glad you got the chance to interview. And Ben, man, I'm so glad you got a chance to ask Kanoa a question. You know, and Kanoa's legacy, it literally is like amazing. I mean, you know the old term David and Goliath. Kanoa's family name is like Goliath and Spectrum Sports Hawaii is like David, but they're just so amazing. He's so well versed in sports, and as you guys heard, he's a great talker. He's a great person to listen to. I encourage anybody and everybody to follow Kanoa. He's a great guy, great friend of ours. As you just heard, he's going to come on the show. But man, Ben, welcome back, buddy. How are you doing? Happy belated Easter to you.
Yeah.
Obviously, Shane's not here because he got a little bit of the food poisoning, which we told him not to eat that raw shrimp. But he's got food poisoning, man. But how are you doing, man? I ain't seen you in a while.
Yeah. Last week was a crazy week for me, man. But Easter's great. Easter was awesome. We had a play at church, and God moved, and it was great. And we got some time to go Easter egg hunting with my niece, my 2-year-old niece. So that was special.
That's always
it was a really good time, man. I'm doing well. I hope you
good. I'm taking it day by day, but as you see, I'm sitting in my chair, so that means the knee is getting better each day.
There you go.
So Ben, I also want to introduce you to our newest member of the network, our buddy Tim Collins. He is with Answer the Call. You will see him from time come on the show. But he is, we are taking him under our wing to help him grow. And Tim is a great guy, great buddy of mine. We talk literally, Tim will tell you, we talk all day, every day kind of thing. So it's really nice.
Hey, I'm going to tell you real quick, Brandon, my wife gives me crap because she says that I talk to you more than I do her. So
my wife says the same thing. She's like, oh God, you're talking to your BFFs again, aren't you? And I love it. It's the best. But y'all, so now that obviously Kanoa's gone, we have a lot to talk about. So this past weekend, we saw some really we saw some darn good sports. The NHL season is wrapping up, and there are some big headlines. Y'all, how about this? The Buffalo Sabres, they ended at the time was the longest playoff drought at 14 years compared to all 4 of the major sports. Now it belongs to our good friend Ben Rodriguez's New York Jets. But they ended they ended that horrible drought. They clinched the playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs. We saw the Florida Panthers, which I'm not going to be upset about, but the Florida Panthers, they got eliminated. Remember, they were the two-time Stanley Cup champions. They won the back-to-back. But they're gone. So I want to get everybody's thoughts on the final week of the regular season of the NHL playoffs and the Stanley Cup. Who could maybe win the Stanley Cup. And then afterwards, our good friend John from the Pitch Grid podcast is going to join us. He's going to give us some updates on all the World Cup news. There was a lot of crazy World Cup news. He's going to talk to us about MLS. There's some National Women's Soccer League news he's going to share with us. And then after he's done, the NCAA tournament concludes tonight, but there's something that's really cool that's going to happen. It is going to expand in 2027 from the field of 68 to 76 in both men's and women's basketball. Now, people have also said it's not enough. Could we see an expansion again to 96? We'll talk about that as well. Ben will have a small sports story to share. I will too. Tim also has a sports story. And then our favorite subject will be, our favorite topic segment is the honorable mentions. All right, so let's get into it. This weekend we saw a lot of great sports take place. But what is everybody's thoughts coming into the final week of the NHL season? You know, guys, we're about to see something that has never been done in NHL season, which is when we have 6+ teams with 100 points. That's not been done ever. And it could be, we're about to see that. It's really exciting. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start with you, Tim. What are you looking forward to most this final part of the NHL season, regular season?
Hey, if I may, before I start, about an hour ago, the New Jersey Devils have parted ways with GM Tom Fitzgerald. So there's that happening.
Whoa.
Breaking news right here. You heard it first at the Sportz Nutz. So they are parting ways with Tom Fitzgerald. So one thing that stands out to me is like these top teams, like Colorado and Detroit and these top teams like that. How are they going to handle down the stretch and into the playoffs? Because the Avalanche, they're really solid team, and nobody can really count out the Pittsburgh Penguins, as long as they got Sidney Crosby on board. I think that's another one of those that can just take it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. And, the Detroit Red Wings, and I know it was against the New York Rangers over the weekend, but I was actually watching this game, and it was just total domination. And at one point, it was 4-0 Detroit, and they looked like they were going to pitch a shutout, and then New York finally got that one goal, and I was like, oh man, come on.
And this was the inside out game, wasn't it?
I think so.
Oh, that was a cool experience.
I just know I saw, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But I grew up, when I was a kid, I was kind of a Detroit Red Wings. I played a lot of NHL on the old PlayStation, and so I was kind of a big Detroit Red Wings fan. I got out of hockey a little bit. I did used to follow the Avalanche when Joe, is it Sakic, used to play for them. So
look at you. That's awesome that you know that. I love it. That's perfect.
So that's about the extent of my knowledge. Like, in terms of hockey, I still don't understand it, but I am trying. But the things I have seen was Colorado is dominating, and Detroit looks solid as always. So,
but and Ben, you know this very well. We'll go ahead and let Colorado win that President's Trophy because anybody who's ever won the President's Trophy has never won the Stanley Cup, and we'll just let them whatever. But Ben, what are your thoughts on this final week of the NHL season, and who do you think could make heads turn in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Yeah, I think the first team that comes to mind obviously is we just talked about in Colorado, leading the NHL standings. You think they'd have to be the perceived favorite, but a couple of other teams I'd kind of keep an eye on. Is I would look at Carolina. My in-state team, the Carolina Hurricanes. They got that championship DNA in them. And speaking of championship DNA, how about the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Yes.
I don't see why not. It would be their third championship in, I believe, 7 years. I don't see why not. Might as well keep that Florida team championship, streak going. That said, I am kind of shocked that the Florida Panthers didn't make it this year. You look at the hockey, the men's hockey team. You understand, not just USA, but every country. You know what NHL team was most represented in the Olympics this year?
Was Florida.
The Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
It's crazy that the Florida Panthers, by far have the best. I think on paper have the best team. And that's shown in the past two seasons. It's unreal that they didn't make it. But my bets would be on Tampa Bay or Carolina. Those are kind of the two teams I'm looking at. That could potentially upset Colorado.
You melt my heart saying that because that's my team. The Tampa Bay Lightning are my team. I'm a diehard Lightning fan, which, by the way, I want to let everybody know we do have the play-by-play of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Dave Michigan is going to be coming on after the season ends, obviously, because we're coming to the meat of the Stanley Cup playoffs, getting ready to start and stuff. And so, but David Michigan is coming on. But yes, man, there's so much discrepancy. Obviously Colorado is Colorado, but Colorado has shown they're human. Obviously, they at one point we were talking about this before. At one point, this, Ben, it looked like they were going to run away with everything, and they were going to break the points record for most points in a single season. I thought they were going to hit 138, and they're not, thank goodness. But I'm just saying that there was that potential. But then, how about this? There was talks that the Philadelphia Flyers, they were not going to even get into. If the playoffs start right now, they're in the playoffs. They're the final wild card, of course. But
yeah,
the state of Pennsylvania is represented very well because the Pittsburgh Penguins are in it, and the 76ers, and the Flyers are in it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. This final part of the regular season. I will say this, and I say this with all sports. I hate that the regular season's coming to an end. It's always fun to get to watch hockey. It's always fun to get to watch basketball, which Ben, we're going to talk about that shortly. But it's fun to do these kind of things, man. And we've said this with Shane regularly, and Matt even, and Tim's heard this too. When you really get into it is when it goes away. You're like, that gummit, that was too quick. You sneeze and it's the end of the season kind of stuff. So, but shout out to all the teams who are currently already in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and shout out to the teams who they're fighting tooth and nail. Which, by the way, I got to give a special shout out to, as we mentioned to start, the Buffalo Sabres. Remember, after the first game, the entire fan base was like, "Oh, here we go again. We're garbage. We're not going to make it." Hello, they did. And then also, shout out to the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, they just clinched the playoffs yesterday, so that's exciting for the as people call them the Habs. But congratulations to the Montreal Canadiens. All right, guys, we have a very good friend of ours, Tim. This is our mutual buddy, which I know you're excited to talk to. But our guy, John from the Pitch Grid podcast, is going to join us. Remember, he's gonna break down. There has been a ton of World Cup news going on. He just literally just did the whoa. Like, there is a ton of it to talk about, and then the MLS and the National Women's Soccer League. John, man, what's up, brother? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, brother.
What's up, dude?
I'm so glad to be on. Hey,
And look
man,
at Tim. Look at Tim over there dancing. He's excited to see you, man.
John.
Good to see you, buddy.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you guys now before Don dives into it. John, Tim, and myself, we're also in a group text message. Yeah, we talk all the time, y'all. I promise you, we talk all the time. These are the best friends anybody could ever have. But John, man, happy belated Easter to you. I hope yours and your beautiful girls had a fantastic Easter. But man, all right, I want to talk about what has transpired with the World Cup.
Well, we are officially set in terms of all the field in the World Cup. We have now all 48 tickets punched to the World Cup here in North America this year. We are going to have teams that we have not seen in over 50 years qualify. The DR Congo qualified for the first time in 52 years after beating Jamaica in the Intercontinental Playoff. Iraq is also coming back to the playoff for the first time in over 30 years. And after being Bolivia, the sea level merchants, as I like to call them, because they like to play at an altitude in Bolivia. And then we had a team that also never won a single qualifying match in World Cup qualifying, but they're still in the World Cup. And you want to know why? It's because they won their Nations 2 years ago. They won their Nations League group and are now qualified for a place in the playoffs, and thus they had to win 2 games, and they won those 2 games and are now in the World Cup. So, despite Nations League being a money grab, I can rant about that if you want me to. And it does actually have some meaning in terms of this expanded World Cup that we have. And now we also got to see Italy not qualify for the World Cup for the 3rd straight cycle. That's right. They have not been to the World Cup since 2012. Wow. Well, actually, no, 2008.
That's still a long time.
Yeah, there are people now that are getting their driver's license who are Italians who have not seen Italy in a World Cup. And this is a team that has 4 World Cup titles. So they have a lot of proud history in Italy. They lost to Bosnia-Herzegovina, who is appearing in their 2nd ever World Cup. They have only ever qualified for 1 other major tournament, and that is the World Cup. They have lost every other time in the Euros, and this is their 7th straight cycle trying to qualify for major tournaments, and they are now in the World Cup. And this is a population of 3 million people in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So huge moment for that nation as well. Czechia, or the Czech Republic, this is their 2nd World Cup after beating Denmark, who missed out on their 3rd straight World Cup. So the Czech Republic, for the 2nd time in their history of being an independent country, is headed to the World Cup now. This is their 6th time as the Czechoslovakia/Czech Republic, but only the 2nd as the independent nation of the Czech Republic. So we have had a lot of history. Turkey is also going to the World Cup for the first time since 2002. So we're getting a lot of
senior year in high school. Wow.
Yeah. So these are countries that are mad football countries. They love their football, and they're finally getting to see their national team play on the biggest stage in the world this coming summer in June. And I'm so excited, Brandon. You have no idea.
Well, let me ask you this, John. What on earth is going on with the U.S. men's national team? I mean, yeah, I get it. They were friendlies, but dude, what in the world? This is not going to be a pretty World Cup if this is what the type of level of play we're going to see to out of them. Like, what do they need to do to fix the situation going on with them right now?
Brandon, I will say, I was talking, slight plug here. I had a Fabian Renkel from The Athletic on my show last night. And he was talking to me about how, yes, these are friendlies. These aren't actual competitive games. These are games that, like, they don't matter in the grand scheme of things. But I think you're seeing right now that the U.S. is just not at the level that they need to be if they want to win a World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
you don't want to just get there just to be there. You want to win.
Yes, you do. However, when you're looking at the likes of Argentina, of a France, of a Spain, we do not have those kinds of players, Brandon, here in the U.S. And that's just the honest truth. Christian Pulisic, who has been our icon of the U.S. men's national team, has not scored in 2 years, Brandon, in a competitive match for the U.S. men's team. And this is probably going to be one of his last World Cups for the U.S. And honestly, we're just seeing a lot of flux. There's a lot of talent in the MLS that the U.S. can very much harvest and take advantage of. Look at Xavier Gazzo for Real Salt Lake. That guy just scored a banger over the weekend. Go check that out. And, you know, but at the same time, Mauricio Pochettino is working with scraps. Let's be honest. He's working with a lot of talented players. We can get out of this group. This is a group that can be winnable for the United States. And I do think we as Americans tend to overhype how bad it can be because we love our winners. I think we all can acknowledge we as Americans love our winners. We want to succeed. We want to be the best. However, that's the reality is just we are not because we do not have those world-class players.
I was just about to say, you know, we have what is the old saying? We have champagne taste with a beer wallet. And that's kind of like how we see it on that one, you know. And we all believe, we believe, but dadgum, they got to get their ish together. Hey, Tim has a question for you, John. Tim, go ahead, man.
What's up?
All right, John. It's no secret that any little knowledge I have in the world of soccer, I owe it to you. And
I appreciate that.
I actually was asking you this as a fan question in your little pitch back, and I want to know who's going to win the World Cup.
This was an answer that me and Fabian were talking about last night. I, right now, like the idea of France going back and getting revenge for last World Cup. They got all the way to the final. They lost to Lionel Messi in Argentina in penalties. It was a great game. I highly recommend checking out the highlights. It was an amazing game to watch live. I just think France, they are loaded with talent. You look at Kylian Mbappe is one of the players to know for this tournament. If you do not know Kylian Mbappe before going into the tournament, you will know him by about the quarter round because that's how good this guy is. Because when he puts on a France shirt, he scores goals for fun. The guy's that good. You have Antoine Griezmann, who just made a move to MLS from Atletico Madrid. He is not what he used to be, but he's still such a good athlete. He can pass the ball, has such great knowledge of the field and the width and depth of it. And then you just have Didier Deschamps. He is one of the best coaches in the world for a national team. And he knows this team has the experience. A lot of people like Spain. I would agree with Fabian Raquel that they are too young. Lamine Yamal, you will know him in this World Cup. He is 17 years old, and he is playing like a Lionel Messi.
Wow, that's a great comparison there. Holy moly!
And he's playing for Barcelona.
That sounds like a great comparison.
That really does sound like that's a darn good great comparison on that one.
Dude, I highly recommend. I highly recommend you check out Lamine Yamal's highlights because it's spectacular how he can dribble and carry the ball with authority and precision, and the way his touches are smooth, and he doesn't put a foot wrong. He really doesn't. He's that good at 17, and he's only going to get better. So, yeah, this is a Spain team that is young, but they have a lot of great talent. I just don't see them being there yet. So
I remember 60 Minutes doing a special on him, by the way, too. I absolutely remember that. And yeah, because I was literally texting you when that was on. I'm like, dude, this is a really cool story on that one. Oh man, but to say that you just the comparison you did, that's pretty impressive. So John, you and I were talking on yesterday, and the KC Current, man, they obviously they're starting out pretty cold, but they got a really phenomenal win yesterday against Gotham. They gained 3 points that they needed with that victory. But let's talk a little bit about the National Women's Soccer League. Didn't you say that you want to talk about some a particular team starting up? Go ahead, man.
Yeah, San Diego Wave. They I believe I mentioned this on the last time I was on here. They signed a record contract for Chelsea's one of Chelsea's better players, and she signed for about $8 million. It is the largest contract in women's history. Wow. So, yeah, this is a big deal, and they are at the top of the league right now. Sorry, they I think only have like one loss right now in only 6 games. They are really good this year, and last year they were on the fringes of the playoffs. So, yeah, I do also want to address real quick that KC Gotham game. The Current fans, they sold out that game at over 11,000, the highest attendance at any WSL game this last weekend. Anyway, yeah, CPKC Stadium is really unique. It's right on the river. I could talk about it a lot because I'm a KC fan, but yeah, it was that was really cool. I also, Brandon, want to bring up something in MLS that is going on that not many people are talking about in the media. The Vancouver Whitecaps are in danger of moving. They could be leaving Vancouver and going to Vegas, potentially, as the new MLS team for Vegas because they are in an ownership crisis right now. This is a team, by the way, that was in the MLS Cup final.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
So, yeah, their ownership is kind of in flux right now. They really don't know what they're doing with that. They've thought about trying to build a soccer-specific stadium. There's a lot of Canadian laws in place where a lot of their jersey revenue is kind of how they make money for the Vancouver Whitecaps because of the stadium rights and all that in Vancouver. So it's rather complex, but keep an eye on that because that could be a really interesting story in a few months if they are not able to find a home in Vancouver. And this is a fan base in Vancouver that has been around since the 70s. So tearing their club away from them would be huge.
Absolutely, it could be economic impacts for decades to come along on that one. But Vegas they're stealing the show quite a bit. John, let everybody know where they can find you on socials. When is the next episode of your show drop too?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Brandon. You can find the Pitch Grid podcast anywhere on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your podcast. That's where the Pitch Grid podcast is going to be. You can find us on all social media platforms like TikTok, X, Instagram, where all our short content's probably going to be. And we just dropped, literally hours ago, our interview with Fabian Renkel of The Athletic. He's also the head of content at Kickbase, which is the new home for MLS Fantasy. And it was a great conversation. We talked about the impact fantasy can have in growing the game of soccer here in the States. So highly recommend you check that out, including our discussion of the U.S. men's team and the World Cup. We talked a lot. It was a good hour and a half almost of content. So highly recommend you check it out on all platforms.
His name is John. He is the Pitch Script Podcast. John, man, we will talk to you next Monday. Sound good, sir?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right, man.
Have a good day,
Take care of
John.
yourself, and we'll
Hey,
talk
John.
soon, brother. Take care.
Take care.
Oh man, see, guys, I always have a good time when John comes on. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And he obviously we are not so well versed in soccer, but I actually get really excited when he talks about it, because I mean there's a lot to learn in that whole realm of everything. So I thank you, John, for coming on. We greatly appreciate you as always. All right, Ben, I'm excited to talk to you about this one. I have it on here that literally has circles, says wait to talk to Ben about. The NCAA tournament will be expanding in 2027 from the field of 68 to 76 for both men's and women's basketball. Now, many people do believe, though, that this isn't enough, that in the coming years, we will see it expand again, only this time to 96. So what are your thoughts, Ben? To start with you, what are your thoughts on this expansion? Obviously, we're not going to have that old first four in, last four out, whatever kind of nonsense play anymore like that. But what are your thoughts on the NCAA tournament as a whole expanding to 76?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is it's just going to be more games for us to miss while we're at work. I mean, who the heck's going to watch a March Madness game at 1 p.m. on a Monday or Tuesday afternoon? Except for people who are retired. But I mean, I just, I think the good thing about this is like you said, it kind of, the goal is to kind of eliminate the play-in, which is, I mean, that part is positive, but I guess my question would be, what is the goal? I mean, yes, I know what the goal is for the stockholders. That the goal is, hey, let's make more money. I know what the goal is for the NCAA and these universities. Like, obviously, we know the reason, but for the entertainment purposes of it, what is the point? I mean, we're gonna expand it to what, 18 seeds, I guess, instead of 16. I mean, you're just gonna end up prolonging the inevitable. There ain't gonna be no parity.
You're gonna have an 18 seed knocking off a 1
or
seed.
18 seed is gonna not only go far in the tournament, let alone win a championship. I'd be willing to bet. I'm 27 years old. I'm willing to bet my whole life savings that we will never see a 17 or 18 seed ever make it to the Elite Eight. Not once. It will not happen.
Wow.
It's
I
just,
can see that too.
to me, you're prolonging the inevitable. It's
right.
just, what is the point of it, man? We're going to see more blowouts.
This is all the point about you.
What's the entertainment purpose, though? You know what I mean? I'm
you
telling you right
hit
now,
the nail on the head too,
unless it's Duke playing them, I ain't going to watch that. Ain't nobody in the world going to watch that.
So that this is comparable to also, Ben. That's like, I hate to bring this up, but New Jersey Institute of Technology. That's like them, right? They win their conference. They don't win any games, but they go to their conference tournament, and then they have to play, and they're an 18 seed. They got to play Duke, and Duke absolutely mollywops them like 135 to 12, something like that. That's kind of what you're gonna see, and you're gonna be like, it's not what I want. But what do you think about this, Tim? What are your thoughts about the expansion?
All right. So the first thing that comes to my mind is let's switch the sport just for a second. We saw the college football playoffs be expanded to 12 teams, and now they're talking about 14 teams. Well, let's take a quick reminder of what we had this past season when the number 5 versus the number 12 in college football, and it was just the game wasn't exciting. It was just one-sided, and we knew the outcome. Well, for college basketball, it kind of seems a lot of the same. Yes, we are going to have the Cinderellas and the upsets. I mean, we almost saw number 1 Duke go down to Indiana this season. So, I mean, it is possible from that aspect, but the more we stretch it, the less likely it's going to become. And then we're sacrificing quality over quantity. And I feel that's going to be a big mistake. And, people aren't going to want to tune in because I'm not sure, but I would almost bet that the college football playoff in the first round this past season, I bet their numbers were down tremendously compared to last season. And it's never going to feel like enough, Okay, so we have a 32 team or 64. Sorry, we have 64. And then we expand by a little more. And then it's like, oh, well, this team should have made it, but they didn't. And it's just always going to be like, it's never enough. And eventually we're going to get into like, well, we're going to play a few games and then it's just going to be tournament and you're going to get in where you fit in. So I just think from a entertainment standpoint and like a sports aspect, it's going to be terrible long term because we're just going to just try to cram as many games as we can versus having the quality matchups that we all like to watch come March Madness.
Oh, absolutely. You hit the nail.
Well, not only that, I think it's going to diminish, like you said, to piggyback off what you said, it's going to diminish the value of 16.
But it's not going to be fun sitting there watching either as well,
15 seeds winning games. Like it's going to take away the Cinderella. Like the more Cinderellas, quote unquote, that you have, the less valuable they become. So,
but Ben, it's also it's not going to. You guys hit the nail. I mean, realistically, are you going to sit there and say, "Oh man, I can't wait to watch a 1 versus 18 seed"? No, it's not going to be fun to watch. You're like,
no.
Okay, again, we're going to go right back to what we're talking about with let's have New Jersey Institute of Technology get absolutely destroyed in the first round. What's the point of going? I mean, that's when you just kind of say enough is enough is enough. I mean, at what point what are they going to say? Oh well, there's 561 teams. Let's make a field of 561. Like, I mean. At this point, you're just fishing is all you're really doing. So I'm okay with having. I'm just like you guys. I'm tired of hearing the first 4 in, last 4 out, yada 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 stuff. The first 4 in playing games. I'm tired of that stuff. Get rid of that stuff. That's been around since the 90s. But I'm okay with expanding. I think it needs to stop. That I think when it goes to 76, just stop. Don't add any more. I don't care that there may be 1,001 D1 universities out there. Don't expand past the 76 because then there is this saying, and you guys know this very well. There is a thing is too much of a good thing.
Yep.
So and you don't want to do too much of it.
No,
all right. So Ben, you have a sports story to share, man. Go ahead.
I do. Mine's kind of short, but it's a good one. And speaking of Duke and UNC and basketball, there's some big news that happened in the basketball world today, especially for those that live in the state of North Carolina. But it's nationwide news now. Michael Malone Michael Malone is now going to become the head coach at UNC Tar Heels. That's a interesting signing, and I'm trying to take my bias aside for a minute, and I'm really trying to take a full scope of this and trying to look at it from an unbiased perspective, as hard as it is. I can't help but think that this screams to me. If I'm a UNC fan, this screams. Thank God I'm not. But if I was, it screams to me. This is a panic hire if I have ever seen one, because tomorrow starts the transfer portal era, or the transfer portal of this season. This screams to me, hey, we got to get a guy in here. We got to get our head coach in here. We got to settle because we got to make sure we don't lose our whole team. And to me, I think it's a settle. And here's why I say that. Not only because of the transfer portal tomorrow, but they were looking at Tommy Lloyd, who, for those of y'all that don't know, was the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats, who were just in the Final Four. Tommy Lloyd was their top target, man. That was the rumor is. And then it was Nate Oates, the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide men's basketball team. Both guys signed an extension. So, to me, this screams a panic hire. But I'm interested to see how Michael Malone can do now. I'm not going to write him off, but I am going to say this. To me, the one big red flag, if I'm a UNC fan, is this. The Nuggets fired him for a reason. I mean, you look at his career, he's a 510 and 394 in the NBA. That is good for almost, that's over 55% win percentage. And he won a championship. I don't know about you, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. And the fact that the Nuggets fired that guy,
there's something we're not being told about.
I'd be really, really nervous about that.
That's the red flag.
See how it works out, but that's going to be interesting.
Absolutely, that's the red flags right there. Mine is real quick. This is literally the fastest sports story I ever see. University of Hawaii and Hawaii News Now. This just broke. The NBC affiliate, also KGMB, KHNL. K5, all of them related to with University of Hawaii. They are officially been awarded the local TV rights for University of Hawaii athletics. So you will see all UH stuff on TV. And remember that, I don't know if you guys knew this, but University of Hawaii used to have to always pay for pay-per-view, and it's about to go away. And now they have this opportunity to grow. So we're really excited. Tim, do you have a sports story you want to share real quick?
Yeah, just real quick. Over the weekend, Stephon Gilmore retires from the NFL, and what a career he had.
Yeah.
Former top 10 pick. He played 13 seasons in the NFL. Here's some of his stats and accomplishments along the way: 617 tackles, 1 sack, 7 forced fumbles, 3 fumbles recovered, 149 deflections, 32 interceptions, 2 defensive touchdowns. He's a Super Bowl champ, NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2019, two-time first team All-Pro in 2018 and 2019. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, NFL interceptions co-leader in 2019. He is part of the New England Patriots All-2010s team and the New England Patriots All-Dynasty team. Definitely a future Hall of Famer in my book, but Stephon Gilmore has retired from the NFL.
Absolutely good career. All right, so now comes everybody's favorite segment. It is the honorable mentions. What we do is we give you usually 1 to 4, but because of time constraints, we're going to give you like 1 to 3 range. It's the sports stories that usually the mainstream media doesn't cover enough of, or just don't cover, period. But we do because we are the Sportz Nuts. And as you guys know, our logo is in there. It says we are nuts about sports. My first honorable mention goes out to the Atlanta Falcons for releasing their new uniforms. They are paying homage to old and new. Really excited to see they brought a mixture of both back. It's going to be a lot of fun. So congratulations to Atlanta Falcons. All right, Ben, give us your first honorable mention, please, sir.
I'm going to start with a name by I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Cade Arambide, maybe. He is the first ever player for the LSU men's baseball team to ever get 4 home runs in a game. That was yesterday against Tennessee. Wow. That team, they beat Tennessee 16-6. Cade Arambide, now, you got to think about this now. He ended up with more home runs in a single game than greats by the name, kind of like Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz, for those of y'all that don't know, was a part of the LSU championship team 2 years ago. 3 now. So he's up there with pretty elite company.
I like that. Tim, what is your first honorable mention, please, sir?
All right, so we're going into the world of women's golf. Yes, I said it, women's golf. Maria Jose Marin, or also known as Majo, becomes the first Razorback, first SEC, and first Colombian to win the ANWA. And those that don't know, that is Augusta National Women's Amateur. She had the lowest in ANWA history at 14 under par. She is the only golfer in the field with 3 rounds in the 60s. So shout out to Majo. She is also a Arkansas native. So way to represent.
Absolutely. Wow, that's pretty cool to average that. Congratulations indeed on that one. That's amazing. My second honorable mention is Audie Crooks. She was in the news because she's announced that she is entering the transfer portal and leaving Iowa State. This is big because she is such a signature member of the Iowa State Cyclones. I forgot what their logo was for a second, but Audie Crooks, she is officially leaving Iowa State. Ben, give us your next honorable mention, please, sir.
Well, y'all already know, man. Y'all already know who's one of my favorite basketball players in the whole wide world, but maybe my very favorite. I cannot let this show go by without mentioning his name. I bet y'all money y'all could probably predict his name. Man by the name of Cooper Flagg.
Yep, I knew you were going there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, whether you're a Duke fan or not, or whether you're a Dallas Mavericks fan or not, whatever the case might be, this dude, I think he's the best rookie, man, that we've seen in a long time, and he's unreal, man. He had 51 points against Orlando, and then he followed that up with 40. Or excuse me, he had 51 against Orlando. He followed that up with 45 against the Lakers last night, becoming the only player. He has more 40-point games or more than LeBron James did as a rookie. So he broke that record as well.
Eat that, Matt. Because Matt's
I
the
love
big
it.
Bronny James believer in LeBron James. So, yes. Tim, give us your next honorable mention, please, sir.
Before I do, if I may, I would like to add to the credibility of Cooper Flagg, because on my show this morning, Cooper Flagg made the Call of Fame, where I take time to recognize the good. Thankfully, he didn't make the Call of Shame, but he made the Call of Fame on my segment. And to add to yours, Ben, Cooper Flagg and LeBron James make history. First time ever a teenager and player scored, or a player over 40 scored 20 plus in the same game. Flagg is the first rookie to score over 40 points against LeBron. Most 40-point games by a teenager. He scored 96 points, like you said, in the past 2 games. He also joins Allen Iverson as the last rookie to score back-to-back 40-plus point games.
Yep.
I just wanted to add that real quick, just to really acknowledge Cooper Flagg here. My second one is New York Islanders. We're going hockey. I know, like, it's crazy. Like, all of a sudden, like, I know some hockey. But the New York Islanders fire Patrick Roy and hire Peter DeBoer with only 4 games left on the season. This move happened because the team lost 4 in a row, 7 of their last 10, once in a comfortable position to make the playoffs. Now they're on the outside looking in and need help to make it into the playoffs. So Peter DeBoer has had success in the past, taking 2 different teams to the Stanley Cup final and coached the Dallas Stars to 3 straight Western Conference finals.
Wow. And just so you guys know, Patrick Roy is a Hall of Famer, one of the best goalies to ever walk the face of the planet. Mm-hmm. And that's a big move that the Islanders let him go. Now I had a couple more, but I'm going to blend my last 2 together. One actually happened today. The Atlanta Dream pulled off a trade of biblical proportions today. They traded with the Chicago Sky. They traded a 2027 first-round pick and a 2028 first-round pick for Angel Reese. So the Me-bounds are coming to the A-bound. So she will be in Atlanta. She is. I can already tell you that the season tickets are actually. I already got a text message that they're on a wait list now. So congratulations to having Angel Reese there. But also, my last honorable mention is a shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. They literally are the hottest team in the NBA. They are winners of 19 of their last 21. They are currently up right now. Well, actually, they're tied. And with the Knickerbockers, but this team, that's actually what they were. They're called the New York Knickerbockers.
I know.
I still say that name is funny, but they went from barely in the playoff playing spot at the 10th seed to only 2.5 games out of the number 3 seed. They will either have the 4 seed or the 5 seed. They are guaranteed the 4 or the 5. They have to. If they have a home-and-home series next with Cleveland. That will determine who wins the 4 and who wins the 5. But shout out to the Atlanta Hawks for really doing amazing things. Ben, give us your final, because of time. I want you to give us your final honorable mention, and then you as well, Tim. Go ahead, Ben.
Okay.
Sure. Speaking of the Atlanta Hawks, real quick, I'm just going to make a mention. I'm calling it now. The Angel Reese going to Atlanta is not the last big trade we will see an Atlanta franchise make this year. I'm calling it. Anthony Edwards will be an Atlanta Hawk within the next year or 2.
If that happens, dude, I'm buying season tickets immediately.
Hey, I'm telling you, he told Jalen Johnson at the All-Star game, he said, I'm ready to come home. So I'm just saying. My last honorable mention, speaking of we're going to keep it with the NBA, goes to the Detroit Pistons. They have gone 8-2 since losing Cade Cunningham. Now, I'm not suggesting that they should tell Cade, hey, pack your bags, go train him somewhere else. But I'm just saying, it's quite the accomplishment, man. They beat some big teams along the way. They also clinched the number 1 team, and Cade Cunningham, or the number 1 seed rather, going to the playoffs. And Cade should be back for the playoffs. So big things are happening for the Pistons.
Absolutely, Tim. Give us your final honorable mention, please, sir.
Real quick. They clinched that first seed for the first time since the 2006-2007 season. So
there you go.
That is phenomenal. My last one. Shout out to the women's UCLA Bruins for winning their first national championship in program history, but they didn't just win. They dominated South Carolina 79-51 on Easter Sunday. So shout out to the women's UCLA Bruins, first time ever being in the national championship, and they won it in dominating fashion. So,
yep.
Don't mind that noise. Sorry, my cat's just freaked out. Real quick, I want to answer this question for you, Joseph Cooper. There actually is no official NHL team in Atlanta right now. There is one coming. In case you don't know this, the Atlanta's had 3 professional hockey teams. The first one was the Atlanta Flames, which are now the Calgary Flames. The second one is the Atlanta Knights, which went on to be the Hartford Whalers, which, in case you don't know, that also now is the Carolina Hurricane. And then the third one, the Atlanta Thrashers, are now the Winnipeg Jets. But the fourth one is coming. It was voted on and it was passed. It will be Atlanta and Houston that are going to grab the first 2 NHL expansions. We actually have Commissioner Bateman coming on sometime in the coming months, but we have secured him coming on. But yes, Atlanta is getting another team. They're building a $3.5 billion arena up in Cumming, Georgia, which is in Forsyth County, just outside of Roswell area. It is being built as a 35,000 seat arena. But yes, there is a hockey team, it's an ECHL team called the Atlanta Gladiators. They play in Gwinnett County, but it's the Atlanta Gladiators is not as good as they once were in the back when they used to be called the Gwinnett Gladiators. Just let you know on that one. So, but if you want to look at going to hockey, I don't know where you're located, man, but there's a lot of great hockey out there. So, absolutely, they want to go if they can see a fight. You're guaranteed to see fights in ECHL more than the NHL as of late. ECHL stands for the East Coast Hockey League, which is the minor league version. So it's kind of like the minor league version of NHL. But y'all, we've had an absolute amazing episode today. Every episode we had is a lot of fun, but we have a contest that is going on. Now, we have gotten a good bit of submissions, but I want more to come in because we really are enjoying this. What we need is 1 to 2 new segment ideas that the Sportz Nutz should cover. You can help. You can send us your ideas. It just needs to be a 1-paragraph summary with a maximum of 2 paragraphs. I read them. So, but give us the ideas of what you think that we should start covering permanently. Now, if you win, we will inform you through the ways that you reached out to us. You will get an intro video of your time coming on with us. You will get the chance to debate with myself, with Shane, with Matt, and definitely Ben. And I'm telling you now, Ben's biting at that bullet. He's ready to debate with you. So you'll get to debate with us. You will get 1 to 2 short clips of your time with us, and you'll forever be linked to the Sportz Nutz as you helped us grow. So here's how you can reach out to us. You can reach out through my email, which is BrandonKeelerOnRadio@gmail.com. You can message me on Twitter, Twix, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, which that handle is Nutty Sports Talk. You can message us on TikTok. My TikTok is Brandon.Keeler8. You can message on Shane's social medias. You can message on Ben's. You can message on Matt's, but don't expect an answer. You have a better chance of winning the lottery than having Matt respond because that's just Matt. But, I like to heckle with him, and I've known Matt for over 20 years, so I can heckle with him that way. You can also reach out to Tim. Tim is a part of our network, so him and I correspond a lot. You can reach out to John at the Pitch Grid. Again, we talk all the time. So what we need you to do is get your submissions in by April the 26th of 2026, and good luck on their chances on that one. Real quick, let everybody know, Wednesday, we have our good friend Tyler McBride of the NFL production crew. He is also a play-by-play wrestling. He is a ringside caller, so he'll be there with us as well. He's also going to join us to do the second round of the mock draft, which you'll see Ben with us as well. And then Shane should be back. And then also Friday the 10th, we have episode 215. Episode on Monday the 13th, we have episode 216. So we have a lot coming along. With that being said, for everybody who tuned in tonight and who will tune in the coming days, thank you guys so much. Real quick, Ben, give your final goodbyes, please, sir.
I just want to say, everybody be safe out there. Enjoy the spring. Thank y'all for just being a part of the show. Thank y'all for just the support. It's nothing but love over here. And, just always remember he is risen, and everybody have a good week out there. God bless.
That's right. Tim, give your final goodbyes, please, sir.
Brandon, thank you again for allowing me to be a part of this show and being part of your network. I am super pumped and super excited. If you guys ever want to talk ball, I will answer the call. Good night.
Absolutely. As I always tell you guys, peace up, A-Town down, Y. Greatest sports city there ever was. You guys have a fantastic evening. Hey, enjoy this outro that Matt made, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Until then, goodbye.